Hey everybody, here in the shop on a Sunday, grinding it out. We got some cool stuff that we're working on as always. The latest thing, we've got some big adventures planned, and for those adventures, we're going to make sure that all the boats are top notch and we've got all the feature set available to us. So one of the things we're working on today is going to be dual steering setup. Dun, dun. So one of the things that we designed into this from the get-go, and we had on the original prototypes, but haven't actually installed on these boats yet, is the ability to have double steering setup. So you got your steering nozzle down here, but we've designed this in such a way that is going to allow us to add an additional rudder on top of that. So let's see here real quick. Oh, say hello to Ollie, everybody. This is Ollie. He is our director of customer service, and he's keeping me company today while we go through and build out this double steering setup. So what you can see here is, let's go ahead and get this pin in. Basically what this is going to allow us to do now is to connect steering link bars from this triangle out to our turntable. So we've got inserts that are going to go in here and here, and that will basically allow us to have link bars so that these two, this outer rudder and our nozzle, are going to move in sync together. Now, for most things, this kayak's built to go into super shallow water and super narrow areas. But the reality is, if you're out in big open water, you're going to go across a big lake, we're going to take this thing out in the ocean, you're going to want to have a rudder just to help with tracking out in that big swell, you know, in the wind, that type of thing. It will help for certain applications. So we wanted to make sure and give you the option to have both. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. So we got a nice, easy, when you flip this thing up, it's going to come right up over the top. So that'll allow you to still clear and to work that way. This is a pretty long, skinny rudder. We might want to go with a different blade shape on this guy, but plenty of drag below the boat there, so we might see if it makes sense if we need to shorten this thing up. But definitely will clear, just depends on what you got going on in the tank well. But it's really not actually much past the sloping rear wall there, so might be good. We'll see here in a second. All right, let's see. We got the 16 by 16 stuck in here, slid forward. There's still room. You can get your extra grab tackle box in there. So let's see how this looks. Oh, money. Check that out. That's pretty awesome. All right, so yeah, now we've got the dual link and a 16 by 16 blackback in here, and the rudder totally will clear it with still some space to go. You know, we could probably get our little Yak Attack dry bag down in there still and clear all that as well. So that is awesome. Now we're going to need to go over to the CNC, and we are going to cut ourselves out some link bars to connect from our triangle out to this turntable. Another fun thing we wanted to include for everybody who's pre-ordering a kayak, we wanted to say thank you, and obviously we want to make sure that your kayak stand out a little bit from all the ones that come after. So one of the cool things we did, this kayak, actually the insert panels on both sides and the top of our steering turntable, that's not veneer, that's actually real carbon fiber. So for all of the pre-order boats, we're actually going to go ahead and include real carbon fiber panels on all of those boats as a special thank you, and just to kind of, you know, you'll be the first. You'll have that limited edition with the real carbon fiber inserts. All right, back in the office. I'm going to design up these link bars real quick, double check the dimensions. But while I'm here, I figured I'd show you some of the stuff. I got it early this morning, had a lot of coffee, and decided to design up a couple adapter pieces I think people might be interested in. One thing I asked the web developer guys to do is if they could give me a page where we can kind of put all of the nifty adapter stuff, you know, the open source type things. I think there's going to be a lot of them. We keep coming up with all this great feedback and all these really easy to make adapter pieces that give you more flexibility with the design. We may eventually make all those parts, but I think it's really easy if we want to just put those online. And if you have a 3D printer, or if you want to use a company like SendCutSend to cut parts for you, that way, or if there's some industrious person out there that wants to make these parts and make them available, obviously that'd be great too. So anyway, let me show you a couple parts real quick I was working on this morning. Let's take a look here. Okay, so one of the things that came up this week is, you know, some people don't realize it has front-facing rod holders. Some people don't like them. Some people love them. But one opportunity I think we have is this is some really key real estate right here. And what I'm looking at doing, let's see here. There we go. So a real quick, easy part for me to make was basically just a block-off plate, right? So it allows you, if, let's say you don't want a rod holder on this side, you just want one on the left. Maybe you want to, put one of the lock and load, basically I made this plate where it's got a central mount hole in it. So you'd be able to put a lock and load base, YakTak lock and load base there. And then you could put whatever you want on there, right? So now all of a sudden, you could have your phone holder here. You could have, you could mount your fish finder on a swing arm off of this thing, all sorts of different stuff. Or, you could do, if you like to troll, you could then use this with a lock and load mount with one of the nice adjustable hang off the side type rod holders too. So it's going to give you a lot of flexibility, and this is just a really simple flat cut plate. And I'll make all this CAD available, but there's already 3 mount holes here for the rod holder itself. One other nice thing about this is we have our big access plates right here for the panels. If you pull that panel off, you'll be able to go ahead and run bolts all the way through these holes and through the hull, and then put some nylock nuts and washers on the backside, so you've got a really solid structural mount to this, because you wouldn't want to just put regular screws into this, especially if you've got a long arm and a bunch of weight mounted on it. You wouldn't want this thing pulling free. So another one that we realized, if you want to mount things off the side of the boat, we have this really great insert setup. So the boat comes pre-set up, so you can move the throttle to the other side if you want. We've also had a lot of people asking about just relocating the throttle in general. Yes, you absolutely can. The throttle is on a cable, and you can move this thing onto a mount or put it wherever you want. It's self-contained. There is a cable that runs to it. So if you want to switch sides, or if you want to mount it on the side of the seat or something, that will definitely be something we could do. The reason we chose to put it in this pocket is we just looked at all the other kayaks that already have steering systems that work this way, right? So there's plenty of kayaks out there that have their steering either mounted on top, and there's some that actually have it right in the side, just like this. And what we found was that the steering, you need a lot more steering adjustments than you do throttle adjustments, right? You can pretty much just set a slow speed and kind of cruise along, and then you're just adjusting the speed most of the time. So in any case, what we looked at is, either way, you're only going to have one throttle at a time, so that's going to leave an empty spot here. So if you've got something you want to mount, a pole or something off the side, or if you just want to put, another one of those lock and load mounts, and then you could come up at an angle and mount things here, maybe a phone holder up off of this, that type of thing. Though it's off the side of the boat, you could kind of swing it back in. There are 2 M6, maybe there might be M5, I have to double check. But there are 2 inserts right here for you to use. So another piece I just made up this morning real quick is another just a circular flat cut plate that will match up with those. So this thing can be, you can countersink these 2 holes if you want to mount something flush here. But I'll get the pattern for the, I believe there's some slots for those lock and load bases. I'll get the design parameters of that, and I can add that to these panels as well. So in theory, what it'll allow you to do is be able to put, one of those lock and load, general mounts here, or just if you want to bolt something straight up to the center of it, just a couple of basic plates to allow you to connect. Let's see what else we got. Oh, okay. So here's another interesting one I did this morning. So let's turn off this. Okay. So this one is a weird looking spaceship type thing. What this functions as, so you see here, this is the through scupper that goes down into our transducer pocket on the bottom. So you mount your transducer inside here. There's a couple of mounts. You can put your transducer inside of here, put the plate over it, protect that, keep that nice and safe. But what we need to do is we need to be able to run a wire down through this cup holder down into the bottom. So obviously, if I do that, I can't. This normally just has a scupper plug in it. It's a standard scupper plug size. But then obviously if I'm running a cable, that's hard to, I've got to kind of just squeeze it through the side there, and then it might interfere with our cup holder function. So I designed this piece this morning. So you can see basically what it does is I call it the coaster. So it essentially is just this could be 3D printed. Eventually we could mold it if it's something people like, but basically it is a scupper plug with a cable pass through. So what it does is it allows you to just run your sonar transducer down through that scupper tube there, and then you can just drop this little base plate inside the cup holder there, and then it gives you a nice flat bottom and a nice little channel for your wires to pass through there. So again, a couple little features, no changes on the hull, but just little accent pieces we can do to give you more flexibility and allow you to use it in the way that works best for you. Let's do a little cam here. So I went ahead and drew up our new test link bar sizes. And what we're going to do is export this as a DXF. There we go. Okay, looks good. Let's go ahead and save that. All right, 3 minutes later. Okay, now obviously this isn't the real part. This is one it'll actually be made of, but this will help us test. All right, got our 2 link arms, looking good. Sizes look pretty good. Went ahead, pulled this out, flipped it over, and now I've got 2 countersunk screws from the underside. So now I've got 2 studs sticking up. Okay, drop back down in there. I think that looks pretty good. I think we might need a longer screw though, and we're gonna need some spacers, but we're getting pretty close here. I mean, I think lengthwise, I think we're right in the ballpark. That's looking pretty good. All right, well, I think it's going to do it for today. It's amazing we can get done on a Sunday with no distractions. It's just nice being quiet. The email's not going off, the phone's not ringing off the hook, and I can just kind of get some stuff done. So a couple changes I need to make on the overall CAD, but generally I think we're in pretty good shape. So that's it for today. Thank you much for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye.